This right here is one of the greatest games of my childhood. Pokemon Fire Red, the remake of Pokemon Red and Blue. And, looking back on it, I always wanted to see what it'd be like if they made this Pokemon game into an anime series. Well, there is that, I suppose, but I'm talking more about this.
Pokemon Origins.
So in terms of the plot, the anime is very similar to the games that it's based off of.
The story is about a young boy named Red, who is asked by Professor Oak to gather information on every Pokemon in the Kanto region with the Pokédex.
Of course, the professor allowed him to pick one of 3 starters: Bulbasaur, Charmander, and of course my favourite, Squirtle. So, like many people who have played the original game, he chose
Charmander.
There's also another young boy called Blue who was asked to do the exact same thing for the professor, and he chose
Squirtle.
Best starter ever. Basically, it's all about Red and his journey through the Kanto region, catching Pokemon, and mainly building his bond with his Pokemon, more specifically Charmander. The problem I really have with the plot is that, even though there's a very straightforward one with the whole thing with Red, and him just sort of catching the Pokemon, collecting the data for the Pokédex, there's a lot of different subplots. They're trying to stay connected to the game. So it's sort of like with Team Rocket, there's the whole thing with the gym leaders. There's the whole thing with his rivalry with Blue and trying to get into the Pokemon League. And for such a short amount of time in each episode, I feel as if they really should have fleshed this out a lot longer, and it should have been a lot better, because they're trying to stick with the video games, and that's good, but you really need to sort of lengthen out the series a lot better when trying to do that. We're just given this monologue, like a very short montage at the beginning of an episode, or maybe possibly in the middle of an episode, where it's just like,
I want to battle all the gym leaders. I want to fight Team Rocket. I want to be a better trainer than Blue.
I just feel as if there should have been at least 12 or possibly 13 episodes, maybe even more. Or if they just focused on something a little bit differently. Like, let's say Red was just going to fight Team Rocket, maybe something a bit different from the other Pokemon anime, where the character is developing as a trainer. Or maybe just try and focus on the game element, or even just focus on the rivalry that he has with Blue, sort of showing how each of them develop different ways as a trainer. But for what we got, it was about average. So as I stated earlier, our main protagonist in this is Red.
Red is a young new Pokemon trainer that is on a mission to catch every Pokemon in the region and collect data on them.
Red isn't exactly a new character that we haven't seen before. He's clumsy, he tries his best, he wants to build a bond of friendship with his Pokemon, he wants to be the absolute best trainer, he becomes the best in the Pokemon League, he becomes the champion, and it's not exactly something new, but considering that it's a really short series, and also considering the fact that he's more personality in this anime than he does in the games, I think I could let it slide just this once.
We also have Blue, who is an obnoxious, stuck-up rival of Red's.
Again, nothing really new here in terms of character. Sometimes we see Blue help Red out at times, but it's mainly because Blue can't do it himself, and he just has to turn to Red because it's the only option that he has left. Most of the characters in this aren't really too interesting, but the one that I really enjoyed for his brief appearance was actually Giovanni.
With Giovanni's battle with Red, surprisingly we do see some development with Giovanni.
Somewhat short and a little cheesy, but I still found it to be really enjoyable, and it just sort of supports my claim, as I said earlier, about this being a longer series. He would have been a lot more interesting and a lot more developed as a character if the series was a bit longer. But it was still a bit more interesting, and we got a lot more backstory from him. And also he came across very confident, very sly and very calm as well. You can tell he's thinking things through as he does them. And I just thought Giovanni was actually the best character in this, in my opinion. So I'm sure most of you have probably guessed by now that I watched this in the English dub. I have to say they did a really great job. I felt the voice actors for Red and Blue were really amazing. And I was really surprised to hear Johnny Young Bosch as Brock, because it wasn't really a casting choice I would have made straight away. But after hearing it, he did a really superb job, and especially because Brock is very different in this series compared to the other anime that 4Kids dubbed. And Brock is a lot more serious. He sort of seemed like a mentor in this, and I felt Johnny Young Bosch really did a great job of sort of showing that sort of side of Brock in this anime, and I thought it was great to see. I also think Jameson Price, the voice of Giovanni, did a really great job. I felt as if he really captured his presence as a calm, collective leader that thinks things through. Now also with the Pokemon, they don't actually say their names, and some people might be a bit annoyed because watching the other anime series, but I mean, this series is supposed to stick with the games, so in these games they don't actually say their names when they make a noise. They just sound like animals, and they sound the exact same in this, which I think is great, and I actually found it a lot better than actually hearing them say their names, to be honest. And to make it feel as if more you were watching this game, they actually had the music from the games in this anime series, which I actually thought was a great idea and fantastic to hear. I have to say, the animation for this was extremely well done.
I feel it still keeps the original artwork of the games, but the artwork is still updated. Also, the animation on the Pokemon battles is really well done.
It's just really unfortunate that when it comes to battles, there weren't really a lot in this series. But when there were, they were incredible to see. And I thought it was really enjoyable, but I just really wished we could have seen more of that in the series. After watching the series, I really want to give it a higher mark, but just because it had so much crammed in such little time, I have to give this a 6.8. Now, I know some of you might be annoyed, but it's very brief in this series, and I feel as if the audience is a little bit limited, because people who have played the games will know, well, this happened and that happened already, and, you know, we also see it in the flashbacks, but what's the point of seeing the flashbacks when you just want to see it in the anime? Instead, a lot of the time they're just standing around talking a lot, and you know, it's very brief in what they do, and some things aren't even really explained, like when Team Rocket are in the Pokemon Tower, they don't explain what they're doing there, and younger audience, they probably wouldn't get it unless they had a parent or an older sibling that played the games. But I still found it enjoyable. It was great to see, and I think Pokemon fans would enjoy seeing it. So in terms of recommendations, I don't think I'll even bother mentioning the other Pokemon anime, because I'm sure a lot of people know of it already, and there's so many episodes of it that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen at least one. So what I will point you towards is Log Horizon. You know, it's not based off the game, but it is about characters trapped in a video game, and I haven't seen all of it at this stage. I haven't even finished season 1, but I've seen about 18 episodes or 19 episodes, and it's really great, it's really fantastic, and it's very enjoyable. The other anime I will point you towards is Tower of Draga. Now, this is one that's actually based off of a video game. I never played the video game, so I don't know how closely it follows it, but the anime is really enjoyable. It is a little bit slow, but the second half is so worthwhile and great to watch. So hopefully you'll find something out of those that I've recommended. Also, if you're a big Pokemon fan and also a manga fan, I would point you towards Pokemon Adventures. It's very different from the games and the animes because Pokemon actually, there's some Pokemon that actually get chopped in half, some of them get burnt, some of them come back as zombies in some scenes, and it's very different. And I have read some of it, I haven't read all of it, but from what I've read, it's really great, and I need to really get back into it, and maybe I'll do a review of it, I don't know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like it if you enjoyed. Tell me what you thought of the series, and tell me if you've played any of the Pokemon game, or I mean Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, the original Blue and Red, and tell me down below what you thought, how closely it felt, or how closely you felt it followed the games. And please check out more of my videos, subscribe, and hopefully I'll have a lot more videos coming soon. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.